Signal 2-3. Armed leftist chapters hold range day events. The Tucson chapter of the Socialist Rifle Association, or SRA, held its first live fire range day with 8 members in attendance. Members fired from static positions with semi-automatic pistols, bolt-action rifles, and AR-15 pattern rifles out to 50 yards. In addition, the Kansas City chapter held its largest recorded range day since its founding. 13 members attended, and the group had to limit attendance due to the coronavirus. The chapter fired at static targets at 25 yards or less with semi-automatic handguns and multiple AR-15 pattern rifles. Observers note, many SRA chapters have begun hosting an increasing amount of range day events since the shootings in Kenosha and Portland. These events can be important for recruitment and networking, as well as a chance for members to advance their firearms proficiency. Armed leftists call for organized community defense after pro-Trump event. The West Los Angeles chapter of the SRA called for leftist community defense organizing after a pro-Trump caravan drove through the city. We can no longer pretend like the fascists are not in LA. They've always been here, but they're making it very clear now. Get to know your neighbors now and begin building avenues of community defense, wrote the group on Twitter. Observers note, SRA chapters and other armed leftists or leftist groups called for community defense following the shootings in Kenosha and Portland. After Charlottesville, activists made armed organizing a major line of effort. Armed violence on either side will underscore the need for the left to continue arming themselves, ensuring a heightened risk of armed political violence in the future. Leaked government emails confirms anti-fascists are organized. A leaked Department of Homeland Security email from Acting Undersecretary for Intelligence and Analysis Brian Murphy labels Antifa as an organized, violent movement, Murphy writes. We can't say any longer that this violent situation is opportunistic. A core set of threat actors are organized, show up night after night, and share common tactics, techniques, and procedures. Mark Bray, a Rutgers University political radicalism historian, claims it is not an organization and disputes claims that Antifa masterminds violence at Black Lives Matter protests. The Observer's note, many on the right and some independent journalists have argued Antifa is organized, albeit not in a vertical hierarchical sense. Rather, the group is organized horizontally as an urban cellular insurgency heavily structured around local cells with shared tactics, ideology, and goals nationwide. Anti-fascists plan to descend on the ICE facility after air quality improves. Safe PDX and Popular Mobilization vowed to return to the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE facility in Portland, Oregon, once air quality and environmental conditions improve. Far-left groups attacked federal and local law enforcement at the facility in late August. Recently, Safe PDX and other groups were outraged following claims of medical negligence at a Georgia ICE facility. Observers note, the wildfires and poor air conditions have apparently put a damper on some insurgent activity in the Pacific Northwest for the time being. Far-left groups have remained busy, though, focusing on building mutual aid and organizing future events in a likely attempt to regain the popular support they enjoyed earlier in the summer. Groups will likely continue to target other federal facilities as we near the presidential election. In addition, they have focused on stockpiling materials, including ballistic armor, for future riots. Portland Mutual Aid Group claims dual power victory. Symbiosis PDX, a Portland-based far-left mutual aid group, delivered multiple truckloads of supplies for the third straight day. They established an indoor storage facility, 5 vehicles, and trailers for deliveries. The group said on Twitter, "So far, we have made over a dozen massive loads to impacted communities. This is dual power and mutual aid in action." The Observer's note: far leftists seek to establish alternatives to existing government programs and social institutions through mutual aid programs. The ultimate goal is self-sufficiency, the development of counter-power to disrupt the government, and to plant the seeds for capitalism's ultimate destruction. Dual power is a concept that both political power and social power should be built to expand the reach and influence of a revolutionary socialist movement. Developing mutual aid projects and humanitarian/charitable relief for the community builds this social power, from which the revolution will draw active support. And that is it for this one. Signal 2-3.